Yes folks, welcome back. Here we go. It is time for your Celtic Fans TV Scottish Cup Final starting 11 prediction ahead of the big game tomorrow at Hampden against Hearts. If you want to see a more detailed preview of the game, you can find that on Thursday night's live preview show. I'll link it up at the end of this video and in the description below if you haven't watched it already. This is obviously a huge occasion for the club. I didn't think we would ever be in the situation where we'd be closing in on 4 domestic trebles on the spin. I think I speak for most of us when I say that as well. The club is going for domestic treble number 7 in its history. We're going for a 40th Scottish Cup and a 111th major honour. It's crazy that we're talking about a Scottish Cup final in December with no fans there, but as we know, this football season is nothing like a normal football season. Before we get to the team selection for tomorrow, I have to tell you about our sponsors, OneFootball. The OneFootball app has everything you need at the touch of a button. You can get lineup notifications as soon as the team's announced on game days. You can get goal alerts from games from all over the world, league tables as well. You can keep track of teams' form, top goal scorers, top assist makers, you name it. You can find it all there on the OneFootball app. It is free to download and you can download it by clicking the link in the description of this video. It's a brilliant way for you to support the channel if you watch all the time and you want to help us out. A brilliant way to do that is to click the link below and download the OneFootball app. Their support has been brilliant over the last few months and it's a great app, so as I say, click the link, download it and let me know what you think. The managers obviously get a few selection headaches. We saw it last week with the performances of Soro and Turnbull, both against Lille and Kilmarnock. A lot of talk this week about who should play and who shouldn't play. There's a few positions on the park, I think, that it's honestly a toss of a coin as to who Neil Lennon might play in that position. But I do expect us to be in a 4-2-3-1. In goals, this is one of the big decisions Neil Lennon has to make. Does he stick with Conor Hazard or does he bring in Barkas or maybe even Bain? Listen, I would expect it to only be Barkas or Hazard, and I've got a feeling Neil Lennon is going to stick with Conor Hazard. That's a risk in some senses because he's a young player. He hasn't played a lot of football for Celtic, but he did keep a clean sheet last week against Kilmarnock, and I think on that basis Neil Lennon is going to keep him in the team for tomorrow. A back 4, right back Christopher Aya. I didn't think I'd be saying that a few weeks ago, but since he's gone into that position, he's played really, really well. Allied to poor form for El Ahmed and poor form for Frimpong being pushed further up the park as well due to whether it be a Christie suspension or Forrest long-term injury. So Ayers looked good in that position and I expect him to start in there tomorrow. It will be a centre-half pairing, I believe, of Jullien and Shane Duffy. I seen Shane Duffy's interview last weekend after the Kilmarnock game. He showed great humility. Shane Duffy talking about his form since he's came to the club. He will be his own harshest critic. Most football players are. They don't need to be told when they're not playing well, and they can take criticism because that is what they've been dealing with all their professional lives. And I think it was brilliant to see that honesty for Shane Duffy. He knows he's not been at his best. There's a myriad of reasons for that, but I thought it was really honest of him to say that in an interview, and hopefully he can build up some form now if he's going to be in the team going forward. Left back is another position where Taylor came in last weekend against Kilmarnock, done all right, we kept a clean sheet, so there might be a desire for Neil Lennon to want to keep that back 4 the same because clean sheets have been hard to come by for us recently. This is development another Johnny Hayes debate about who should play at left back. If you go back to last season, I think Diego Laxalt was a good player. He was brilliant when he first came in. I think he's been a wee bit cavalier though. He loves going forward, he loves getting about the pitch. I think he's a wee bit like a headless chicken at times, and I think his final ball could actually be much better than what we've seen so far from him. So I've got a feeling Neil Lennon's going to go with Greg Taylor at left back tomorrow. I could be wrong. That's another one of these positions where it's honestly a toss of a coin. It could be Taylor, it could be Laxalt. And it's not to say that I think Taylor's a better player than Laxalt, not by any means, but I've just got a feeling Neil Lennon's going to play Greg Taylor in that position tomorrow. And then we come to midfield, where it's the biggest debate. Is it going to be Brown? Is it going to be Soro? I can't help but think Neil Lennon's going to pick Scott Brown. He is the captain. He's won so many honours at the club as the captain as well. And I think he's going to bring him back in. Now, I know that there's going to be scores of people in the comments saying, why have you not picked Soro? Why is Soro not in your team? I just think Neil Lennon's going to pick Scott Brown. I think Soro's been brilliant, and I would like to see Soro play. There's no doubt about that. Ideally for me, Sorrow starts the game and we get a lead, and then if we need Scott Brown later in the game, the last 20-25 minutes, he can come on and settle things down and guide us over the line. That's the ideal scenario for me. But this is about the team that I think Neil Lennon will pick tomorrow, and I think he'll pick Scott Brown as the captain to lead us out. And alongside him will be Callum McGregor, because he's played the most minutes of any Celtic player this season. He is the first name in the team sheet. He's the guy that doesn't get dropped. So he'll play alongside Brown. In front of them, again, a huge debate about who'll play in that 10 position. Will it be Turnbull? Will it be Vogic? Will it be Christie? It's got to be David Turnbull, and I expect the manager to pick David Turnbull. He's been excellent in his 2 starts against Leland Kilmarnock. David Turnbull, involved in everything. Set piece delivery, absolutely brilliant, giving us a totally different threat for set pieces. He's made assists, he's scored a brilliant goal against Lille. He's just been a real positive, bright spark for us since he's come into the team. And I don't think, any way you look at it, you can justify taking David Turnbull out of the Celtic team at the minute. Doesn't matter if it's a cup final for last season, doesn't matter who you're playing against. David Turnbull has been brilliant in these last 2 games, and he has to start tomorrow. So I think he'll be in the 10. On the right hand side, I think Ryan Christie will play on the right hand side. Jeremy Frimpong has played in that position. I thought early on in the season he was really good. You've all seen it. I don't think his form recently has been very good at all. His end product is something that's been a real struggle for him. I think we know Neil Lennon likes Ryan Christie. Ryan Christie brings a lot of energy to the team. I think he'll play on the right hand side ahead of Frimpong. I don't think Frimpong has been playing well enough to justify a starting position. That's not to be too harsh on him. I just think a lot of players in the team have been going through spells of bad form. I think Ayer at right back, Christie at the right hand side. It lets Turnbull play in the 10 position. I think that's the best balance for us tomorrow. I know Christie's not a natural right winger, but he's the only other option apart from Frimpong when Forrest has been out. So I think Christie will play off the right hand side. On the left hand side, it will be Mohamed El Younousi, the top goal scorer with 12 goals in all competitions this season. We've seen a couple of good performances from him at Hampden as well. We need another one of those. And leading the line for us, it will be Odsonne Edouard. Some debate in the preview show the other night about whether he should play or not. He seems to really be dividing opinion at the minute, and it comes back to his attitude, his body language. He's jogging about, he's not putting in enough effort. I think we're being a wee bit too critical. As I said the other night, he's not went through a 10-15 game barren spell. He scored good goals in the Europa League, and I know people will say, well, that was because it was the Europa League and he's just putting himself in the market and he's playing in the big games away in the San Siro and putting on a good performance. But I don't think he was that bad against Kilmarnock last week, for example. I don't think he was that bad at all. I think on another day he could have had a couple of goals, and I don't think his body language is any different when he's playing well to when he's not playing well. It just so happens that when he's not playing well, everybody points to it and everybody says, oh look, he's not trying, he's not doing this, he's not doing that. But when he's playing well and his body language is the same, nobody says, oh look at his body language, it's a disgrace. That is just the way he is. Kind of like Georgios Samaras, we talked about it the other night. That's just the way he carries himself. When things are going well, nobody notices. When things aren't going well, it's the first thing everyone jumps to. But there's no doubt that Odsonne Edouard has to start in this game. 6 goals in 9 games against Hearts. We've seen in the Cup Final 2019, he was the match winner, he was brilliant. And if he can bring that sort of performance, I've just talked about away in Prague and away in Milan, where he scored 2 excellent goals. He is a big game player. Whether that's something that he's just got about him, like we've seen with Moussa Dembele, or if it's because he thinks he can put himself on the market for other teams to see him when he's playing in big games, who cares? If he brings a big performance in a big game for Celtic in a cup final, that is all that matters, and I think he's fully capable of that. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him be the match winner tomorrow, just like he was in the treble final last May. That's the team I've went with. Like the video, comment your own thoughts below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already as well. We will be back tomorrow with live full-time reaction straight after the game, here from the home of full-time reaction on Celtic Fans TV. Cheers.